Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm here to talk to you today about something a little bit different because the thing that I am in love with is a diagnosis, not mine, but my daughter's, and I have a picture of her up there. There she is. So let me start at the beginning. I have the rarest of gifts, and that is a completely non-toxic and supportive online parenting community. I know. It's a unicorn. One day, I went there after a frustrating day, and I made a post, something along the lines of like, ugh, how come nobody told me that the temper tantrums don't stop with the terrible twos? And I got a lot of like, preach sister comments, but from people with children who I knew to be pretty young, much younger than mine. And suddenly feeling insecure, I said something like, here we are at 10 years old and we're still having full-throated screaming fits on the floor. Did your kids stop earlier than that? And rather than being met with a bunch of judgy what comments, I was asked to say more about that, and so I did. And somewhere in the comments, somebody recommended that I might want to make an appointment with our pediatrician, just me and him, to talk, because what I was seeing as temper tantrums might more rightly be described as autistic meltdowns. The possibility that I was seeing autism had literally never occurred to me before that moment, and apparently it had never occurred to any other teacher or doctor or fellow parent in our lives because we made it 10 whole years before it came up. So to help us structure these messages, Reverend Lee gave us some questions to consider, and one of them was, what is your favorite thing about the object of your love? And that's a lovely question, but I actually want to start by telling you my least favorite thing about an autism diagnosis, and that is this: that boys and male-presenting children, on average, not always, but on average, receive their diagnosis by age 3, whereas girls and female-presenting children, on average, receive their diagnosis at 14. That's 14. That difference means 11 whole years of extra and unnecessary struggling. It's a little like letting somebody walk around on a badly sprained ankle for 14 years before saying, oh, hey, I'm sorry, did you need some ice for that? My daughter, who knows that I am speaking to you all today, was in fact 14 when we got her diagnosis. We are only 1 year into this new reality. Okay, now my favorite thing. We got our diagnosis through the school before we got a medical diagnosis. So we had this weird hang time of about 3 months while we waited out one of the many waiting lists that happen with a diagnosis. Right before, like a minute before we went in to see the doctor, my daughter turned to me and said, I'm afraid this diagnosis might be wrong. And me, trying to smooth things over, I started saying things like, it might be wrong, and that's why we're seeing an expert, and we'll figure it out no matter what it is. And my daughter stopped me and clarified, and she said, no, I mean, when you told me that I am autistic, a lot of the things I do and the way I think made sense. And I am afraid that this doctor is about to take that from me. And I had never considered the fact that autism is an important and deep part of a person's identity. And that is the moment I fell in love with it. And I think that if the whole world took a second, maybe right now, to reframe our thinking about autism in that context, we would all be better for it. The doctor, I'm happy to say, very much understood the identity aspect of autism and made no move to take it away from her. Not that she would have. The child is autistic. Finally clinching that autism diagnosis has opened my eyes in so many ways, and it has forced me to reckon with the fact that my eyes were pretty closed before. There is an infamous, and I definitely do not mean famous, I mean infamous, television ad from the early 2000s that was put out by an organization allegedly built to help autistic people. The name of the ad is I Am Autism, and it is purposefully filmed like a horror movie. It has scratchy frames and a shaky camera. It has spooky music and a baritone voiceover saying things like, I am autism. I will steal your child away. I will make it impossible for you to have friends. I will make sure you never sleep. I will destroy your marriage. And wild as that commercial is, the truth is that growing up in the 80s and 90s, while I maybe can't say that the attitudes of the adults around me towards autism were exactly as bad as that commercial, they were not that far off. Things are definitely getting better, and information is getting more accessible, but we have a long way to go. I have a long way to go. Before my daughter's diagnosis, I really had nothing motivating me to go on a deep dive and to try to find understanding. But now I do, and it's been enlightening and even joyful. And speaking of joy, please allow me one of life's great joys, for me anyway, and that is introducing people to a new vocabulary word. I have a slide here. The word is allistic, and it just means a person who is not affected by autism, allistic. I am standing up here as the allistic parent of an autistic child. And I know I am not alone in that space here at WellSprings. As a matter of fact, coming up in May, we're offering a Soul Bite discussion, also hosted by the allistic parent of an autistic child. And it's going to be a great chance for us to hold space and to listen and learn and work towards becoming more open. As an allistic person parenting an autistic child, I can tell you a lot, but to be clear, I can't tell you everything. I can tell you about the slaloming path we took through therapists and specialists, pediatricians, and our school district. I can give you a few crucial tips to help shorten the, I am not exaggerating here, 18 to 24-month waiting list that stands between you and your child's diagnosis if they need one. I can tell you my joys and concerns, the things that keep me up at night worrying, and the moments that make me feel so elated I want to high-five the sky. What I can't tell you, however, is what it is like to be autistic. Not any more than I could tell you what it's like to be an organic farmer or left-handed, because I don't know. But autistic people do know. And one of my favorite things about this ongoing learning journey has been discovering just how many autistic content creators there are out there and how willing they are to give us a glimpse of what it's like living in a world that is not set up for them. They are out there writing books and blog posts, they are making informative videos, they are thoughtfully commenting on social media, and they are, in fact, here, attending Sunday services at WellSprings. I know this app isn't everyone's favorite, and it's a little politically embattled at the moment, but one of the most accessible and least intimidating ways to find out more about autism from autistic people is TikTok. So my invitation to you all today is maybe start there. Plug in some hashtags, spend a little time scrolling and listening and learning, and I hope that you get to fall in love with it like I did.